and welcome to the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. My name is Nicky. I am your host and CEO of all things Sheep and Cheerful, and it's been a while since I've done this, so I'm going to have to just dust off the old grey cells, the little grey cells, and get back into the swing of things. As usual, I'm joined by, oh my goodness, I'm on the wonk. My camera's, oh no. No, has this got some sort of writing mechanism? Look, this isn't good. Hang on, let's try it. Is that better? That's better. But now, how's that? Is that any better? I seem to be coming off the top of my thing. Easy, honey. Oh, there I go again. I'm not used to this there. She's sitting on the windowsill. Joined by Honey and Henry as normal. My four-legged co-hosts. This has gone wonky again. I'm going to have to adjust it. Hold on a sec. Okay, we're back. I think that's better. Got the old tripod thing going on. Anyway, as I said, it's probably been 6 weeks since I recorded a podcast last. A couple of weeks before Christmas 2020. Remember 2020? The year that never was. So I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. We were reading the Christmas Carol. I hope those of you who joined in really enjoyed it and put it away on the bookshelf ready for this coming December. Excuse me. And you had a Happy New Year too, although my New Year seems to have just started. I stalled, as a lot of you will know if you are on Instagram. Because recently I posted a couple of things. I have been laid up for about 3 weeks with a really piggy virus. That's my name for it. It's not called a piggy virus. I was knocked out pretty soon after Christmas, really. I think maybe I burnt out a little bit. And yeah, finally, about the first week into January, I was just wiped out basically with some sort of virus. Praise God, it was not COVID. I always, very briefly, because we don't need to dwell on this, but I always have a bad cough. I have some sort of weird, undiagnosable asthmatic cough, which gets much worse in the winter. And I have a puffer and things like that, take antihistamine. The powers that be don't know what it is, but it always gets worse. And if I get run down, obviously it gets more worse. And so my cough got very bad. Now, we knew that it wasn't a coronavirus cough. We knew it was my cough. But it did last for a long time, and I had various other horrid symptoms, not coronavirus symptoms, but all the same. So we didn't, I just literally spent 2 weeks on the settee under a duvet and under 2 dogs, actually. I couldn't really knit, I lost all my mojo, it was all a bit rotten. So in any event, fast forward, Hannah became a bit poorly because Hannah and I get way too close. She's always hugging me, what are you going to do about that? So we ended up both going and getting a test last weekend. And it came back negative, as we thought and hoped and prayed that it would. Really not so much for our sake, but for Gary, who is still having to shield. And since then, actually, I was coming out of it anyway. I've just, been feeling better. And just the last few days, as again, you will have seen from Instagram, I'm getting my knitting mojo back and my creativity and my general enthusiasm. So that in a nutshell. If you've not watched before, I apologise for all of that. So just forget all of that. We'll get on to the crafting stuff. If you have come back, if you're a returning viewer, thank you for hanging in there. I hope that brief explanation excuses me from not being on your YouTubes for a little while. But the good news is, whilst I was away, we have hit over 2,000 subscribers. Yay! So that's really exciting. I think we were on 2003. I haven't looked for ages. And then this week I thought, oh, I haven't looked on my YouTube channel for a while. And there we were, 2003. So if you are new to watching this, or if you watch regularly and haven't subscribed, it would be lovely if you would, because I'd quite like to get to 2021. 2021. And I think maybe, all being well, I will do a giveaway when we get to 2021 subscribers. So that's really exciting, I think. Talking of giveaways, I know I have 2 still outstanding. I am not going to deal with those today. I'm going to look at those this week. Today is really just me dipping my toe back in. It's going to be relatively brief. You've heard me say that before, haven't you? But it really is. I have got so many things to share with you. So many projects. It's unbelievable. I have fallen down a whole new rabbit hole of hand stitching, and my quilting continues, which I will talk about in a mo. I've been doing knitting. I've got blankets galore. I have got so many things. So I'm not going to try and dig them all out today. Today I wanted to get back up and say hi, and like I say, just get myself back in the swing of things. So the giveaways I will announce next week. There were 2. There was the one to win the wonderful little ceramic noggins, little ceramic art by Catherine Daniels, and the other one, what was it? I can't remember. But there is a Ravelry group, a thread in the Ravelry group, so I will go and check. I have the prizes all put to one side, so that will be dealt with next week. So again, please indulge me. Thank you for your patience, and I will sort that out. Right, that's that. Oh, I should say, if you want to pop over and follow me on Instagram, I am Clara Peggotty on Instagram, and I am Nicky Winterton on Ravelry. That's really all I do. I don't do anything else these days. That's quite enough for me. Thank you very much. Also, I have to use new editing software today. So that's another reason I'm going to make this a bit shorter, because I've no longer got the editing package that I had last year. And I'm a bit like, I've got to learn how to use something new. And it's technology. I'm happy to learn to do something new if it's creative, crafty. But there you go. Anyway, I think that's it. Right, so I'm going to share with you a couple of finished objects. 3 finished objects. Also, I should say, the lighting might be a bit dodgy because it's very dark outside. It's very overcast today. It's a Sunday. The reason I'm recording on a Sunday is that at the moment we've got workmen in the house. We're having a renovation done on the top floor, and it is exceedingly noisy during the week. I was going to record a podcast on Friday, but it was so noisy with all the banging, there was just no way. So I thought I'm going to have to do it the weekend when they're not here. So that's why I've got overhead lights on, so hopefully that won't distort the colours too much. Oh, and the elephant in the room. Again, Instagram. I've shared this as part of my I Feel Better Bring It On world. I decided to dye my hair. So I don't know whether it's coming up orange. It's not too bad. It is a bright red. It's not orange. It is a lovely, lovely red. Sort of a pillar box reddish, but it's looking a little bit orange, but I love it. It has really energised me. Really has. So that's really good. And what am I wearing today? I haven't dealt with that, you see. I'm out of touch. Every time I move the light, focus. The light will change. Really? In your own time. Is this going to happen every time I move? I hope not. I am wearing the Paloma sweater, which I knit last year. So you can see, if I can stand up without it going out of focus. This was a free pattern by Espace Tricot. Let me stand up. There you go. Here it is. It's a boxy, straight down pattern. I've got, oh, let's do that arm. I'm doing it again, aren't I? So 3/4 length baggy open sleeves, and it's got the roll neck, and it's got that lovely, you can see this, sort of tram lines down the sleeves. You can see the colourway there. It's a peach, it's knit in La Bien-Aimée Pêche Mignon singles, held together with a just a natural undyed Suri alpaca. And it's so cosy and so warm. It's lovely. I haven't worn it much yet, so this is one of the first outings that it's been on. So anyway, excuse me. So I'm feeling very cosy, very nice with my red hair and my Paloma sweater. So again, as I said, let's move on to some finished projects. So the first thing I'm going to share with you, if you remember way back at the end of last year, I was knitting on some self-striping socks. The yarn was from Helen at Giddy Yarns, and the colourway was Grandma's Christmas Tree. And I've just realised I don't have them on sock blockers. Again, out of touch. You'll just have to bear with me today. Getting in front of a camera is a big thing. So let's get these on a sock blocker. I just loved this colourway. I absolutely loved it. And I raved about it, I think, last time. So I'll only put one on. There. So this is Grandma's Christmas Tree. That's a really good representation of the colours there. It's on sparkle, so it's absolutely blinging to me. I don't think it will bling your end. And then I did the toe and the heel from a mini that came with a set from Hugh Loco, which I ordered before Christmas, and I whipped this colour out because it was going to look so good with these. I got 2 minis with that set actually, so I was able to leave a mini with it and then use these for Helen's sock. My sock, they're my socks, not Helen's. And then my Ainsworth and Prim sock blocker. But these were fantastic, and just to prove that I have both. I finished these just before Christmas. I think I finished them on Christmas Day actually. So they've actually gone into my box for next year. If you remember, when I knit through the year, socks and things, I put them away in a little box and I don't get them out until December. So these will be Christmas 2021 socks, which is really cool. But I love these. Helen dyes such lovely self-striping yarn. And those colours, you know, Grandma's Christmas Tree, absolutely perfect. It's a vanilla sock pattern, you know, recipe, 64 stitches. I used 2.25mm needles. I think these ones I did 15 rounds of 2x2 rib. I did a fish lips kiss heel and just a normal wedge toe. I think they're called wedge toes. So there. So that was a finished object. Then, just before Christmas, oh come on, focus, you rotten camera. Just before Christmas, I had been watching a new to me dyer called Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Yarns. Oh, do you know what? I should have looked up her name. I think it's Julia. Is it Julia? Would you indulge me? Okay, I keep using indulge me, don't I? I don't think I can look it up on here because I think they're just down as Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Yarns. Anyway, I've been discovered those probably last November. Beautiful, beautiful colourways, mostly inspired by art and by paintings. And I was dying to try their yarn. I did actually get a set of their minis from a lovely friend as part of a Christmas swap. But before then, I think I was having a bit of a day and I decided, and I went on, and they had a set of minis called Deconstructed Gingerbread House. Now, for a start, in our household, we always crack up. We watch MasterChef sometimes. And when they say, oh, I'm doing a deconstructed lemon meringue pie, or I'm doing a deconstructed this, and you think, yeah, you're just going to slop everything on the plate. It's just make us laugh. But it's very artistic. But in this case, Deconstructed Gingerbread House was just fell in love with the colours. And it was one of those where I ordered them and had to cast on straight away. It was just, I literally dropped everything else and wanted to cast it on as my Christmas knit. So I did. And I finished it. When did I finish it? I think just at New Year. So, excuse me. But I absolutely loved working on it. So I don't have, I'm afraid, I don't have any of the actual yarns to show you. I used up virtually every last scrap of the minis, and then I pulled in 2 other skeins. You didn't need full skeins, but from stash I pulled a skein of fine fish yarns, which was one of Terry's colours from 2 years ago, chocolate orange. And I also had one of Layla's, the Urban Pearl, sort of a deep brown singles, which I also used as a contrast, and then I worked the minis around that. I went to my library, my patterns library, and I found a shawl that called for different colours, and it was the Colour Spell shawl by Johi Locatelli, and that was in one of the interpretations books, which I should have looked up. Again, out of touch, sorry, but it's one of the earlier interpretations books, which was a set of patterns that Johi Locatelli and Vera Valmaki have been working on, and they produce a book every year. And it's the Colour Spell shawl. Now it's on Ravelry. You can buy it as a separate pattern now, so you don't really need to know which interpretations book it's on. But look at this shawl. Ta-da! So we start there. I know I've got the window behind me, which might not be perfectly good for lighting that. So it's a crescent shaped shawl. I will show you a close-up in a moment of the textures, but it's absolutely wonderful. I love it, and so you can wear it. Oh, I do hope this light isn't too bad. So it's a perfect length. It took quite a bit of blocking to get to the length. My gauge is normally slightly smaller on stitch gauge, but I do have quite a small row gauge, so I have to be a bit careful sometimes. If I'm working on something that you work to a length, it's fine, so 15 inches or whatever, but if it's just rows, sometimes my rows can come out a bit shorter, so I did give this quite vigorous blocking. But when I show you the stitch textures, so it starts here, and this is the chocolate orange colourway. Then it goes to this sort of eyelets. Can you see that? Ah, there you go. So the eyelets, which I use the Urban Pearl colourway, and then we get into the Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit minis. So you've got this gorgeous, I wonder if I could put, hang on, I could put that behind it. Oh, I do apologise again about the lighting. So you've got that raspberry, then you've got the browns again, then you've got the blue, which was just, the blue is just stockinette. Then you've got this wonderful, oh dear, so there you go, eyelet pattern, then garter, then there's some more dark, and then there's the yellow, and then the beige on the bottom. And the pattern does call for pom-poms, but it only calls for one on each end, but can't have too many pom-poms. I made as many pom-poms as I could from the leftovers of the minis, and I just placed them all along. There you go. I hope you can see that, and I hope the light isn't too bad with that. But I do absolutely love that. And I've washed it in Tuft Woolens. Oh gosh, it smells divine. It really does. Oh, come on, this lighting. I need Jonah here to do the lighting correction thing for me. It was probably a bad move having the light over my shoulder, wasn't it? But never mind, it's not going to be a long one, so bear with, caller. These also are in my wonderful bucket bag by Jilly Makes, which I think I've shown you before. She put those in her shop before Christmas and I just couldn't resist it. And it's got Christmas puddings in the middle. That is Jilly, isn't it? Yeah, Jilly Makes. On Instagram and on Etsy. So, the other project I finished, how are we off? Oh, we're only 20 minutes. I'm doing all right so far. I finished, it's a quilting project. And if you'll remember, way back, in fact, it was a year ago, I started a class at a local haberdashery sewing shop called the Patchwork Cat, which is about a half an hour drive away from us here. But, I haven't said where I am, have I? You know, I'm on the south coast of England, so there you go. And I wanted to learn to quilt. Now, you know, I've made quilts in the past, in that I've sewn strips and squares of fabric together, and then I have put a backing on them. But I've never quilted and learned the technique of making blocks or anything like that, and the actual quilting itself. So Mum and I started a class last January, February time, before the whole lockdown thing began, and we were making a 9-block quilt, so a fairly small-ish quilt. Sadly, after 5 weeks, we hit lockdown, the shop had to close, and it's never really got back up and running. It's all been online stuff, and also the classes weren't able to carry on. Now, it's only a small class, and it turns out most people finish their quilts on their own. I was hanging on until I could go back, partly because I wanted to support the shop more than anything. But it got to the point, and I decided that 2021 would be, and again, next week I'll talk to you about my goals, but I wanted to get 3 quilts made, and one of them was to get this one finished. So I had one more block, and then I had the sashing and the quilting to do. Excuse me, Henry's just walking around the room, which is why you get that noise. It's a quality podcast, this. You've missed this, haven't you? Anyway, here is my quilt. And again, I'm going to have to stand up, which could well totally muck up the focus and the light. But there we go. So they're the 3 blocks at the top. Then the middle. So they're all different. So it's like a sampler, really. And then, let me get right up. Let me get the bottom. I think you've got to see. All of those. You get the idea anyway. And that's it basically. Oops, go there. So then the back, I bought some William Morris Strawberry Thief. There you go. Cream and ivory cotton for the back and for the sashing, so you can see. Hang on a minute. What is that? Oh, that's there. So I shan't keep holding this up, but you can obviously see there. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, dearie me. There you go. And that one. I am so very pleased with this. I really am. It feels lovely, and I quilted it myself. So my first ever attempt at quilting, and I did some free motion quilting on this. I did it down the just down the sashing. So I went round the squares. I sewed, machine quilted round the edge of each block. Obviously that wasn't free motion. And then down the sashings I did some wiggles. And that is a highly technical term. But I am very, very happy. That's quite a lot of work, the whole sandwiching that together. And it's not that big of a quilt. But I was sort of crawling all over the lounge floor with it, trying to sandwich it. I pin basted it. I didn't do anything else. I pin basted it and then put it through my machine. I've since bought some spray glue based, which I've tried using on another project, which I'm not going to talk about today, even though it is my project of the moment. I will share that with you next week. But I'm trying the glue based, the spray based, just to see if that makes things a bit easier. And so far it does. I've put a couple more rows onto my Tilda quilt, and I've decided to make it double bed size, so I've had to order some more fabric in for that. So once that comes, I will be spending some time cutting out the squares and making the half square triangles. 3 quilts this year. That's my goal, is 3 sewn quilts. I've just got to decide whether I'm going to hand quilt, send them away, whatever. They're big ones. So the Tilda one and the next one I'm planning to make are quite big. So I'm torn. I may hand quilt one and then send one away for long arm quilting. But that's not cheap, so I need to think on that. I'll see what happens. When I finish the quilt tops, we'll decide then. So they were my 3 finished objects I wanted to share with you. It's all right, isn't it? Not bad. Like I say, I've got loads of projects going on, so hopefully we'll have some more interesting things to share with you next week, and I'll have better lighting and slightly better setup. And Henry's currently got his head on my lap. He's obviously wanting attention. But I'm going to share with you some works in progress now. I just have 3 here to share with you at the moment out of the many, many projects I have. So in my very dodgy bag from Karen in Australia, do you remember 100 years ago I cast on the Waving Lace Socks by Evelyn A. Clarke from the Interweave Knits book, which again I've left in the kitchen. And I finished one, and I was very proud of that. What was that? That was oh, rats. I've dropped DPN, as you do when you're faffing around like I seem to be at the moment. Right, here we go. Here we go. Come on, girl. Get yourself together. Right, so I had finished the first one of these. Okay. Can you see that pattern? I think so. And this was my October sock. And this is from the pumpkin sock set from Ellie at Craft House Magic. And it's a sparkly, beautiful, beautiful pumpkin orange with flecks of sort of grey and black. And then the green contrast mini. And I bought a 50-gram sock set. So I got the 50 grams of the main colour and then the 20 grams. Yeah, 20 grams of the mini. I put that down and I didn't pick it up again. So I hadn't cast on the second sock. Then just, I think, in December, I cast on the cuff. I did the cuff. Well, I then picked it up about a week ago. I thought, this is ridiculous. I need to get this sock done before I can really cast on any other socks. So, come on. That's where it got to. So, I got all the way down the leg. And because of the pattern, obviously, it's totally scrunched up. But it does stretch out, I promise you, to that. Oh, goes my hair. Ooh. And then I got to there. So, I have got 16 more rounds to go of the pattern repeats to get to the toe. And look. rats. Turns out that I need more than 50 grams to complete these socks. Look at that, it's so frustrating. I'm not so bothered about having to buy more yarn. It's more that I was on such a roll and now I've got to wait for the yarn to arrive before I can finish these socks and say I've got another finished object. So that was a bit frustrating. I thought I had calculated it and I had weighed this one and I thought I'd be okay, but clearly I was wrong. Fortunately, Ellie still has this colourway in her shop, so I hopped on and I've ordered just a mini skein of this so that I can finish the toe. That said, I'm now worried, or I can get up to the toe, I'm now worried that I haven't got enough of the green to finish the toe. If I haven't, I'm going to have to just find a colour that looks near as damn it, I think, because it's a pair of socks. I'm not going to have to wait and order another mini skein to finish. As beautiful as this is, and I could easily use this in other projects, I just want to get these done and off the needles and modelled and photographed and give myself a pat on the back. So we're getting there. Remind me that I've dropped one of the needles on the floor, will you? Because I'll forget, and then I know the dog will probably eat it or something. I can't see it, but it's a Leica one, so it's a driftwood, and we've got a wooden effect floor, so I can't see it. Anyway, so that was that. Because I got very nearly close to the end of those, I have been wanting to cast on a pair of vanilla socks, well, since Christmas. Not when I didn't have my mojo, obviously, but I really thought I needed the new hit of casting on a new pair of just vanilla socks, because all the sock patterns I had, in fact, most of the patterns I'm knitting at the moment are charted. So it's not something I could just sit in front of the TV or sit down and watch a podcast or whatever. It was something that I had to concentrate on. But I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And in the end, I dyed my hair and I thought, just do it. Just cast on the other sock, a new sock. And the joy of this one was the yarn. So firstly, this is in my lovely little bag that I made before Christmas. My Christian bag. Oh, I do love this. And it's lightweight. I really like a lightweight bag. There's no interfacing or anything in this. It's lined, but there's just no interfacing. Oh no, that's another thing. I'm getting my project cards back up and going because I've been really slack with those. But this one I used watercolour pencils and it's still not flattened out. But anyway, that is my card. And that is the yarn. So I have subscribed. Last December, I decided that this year I was going to treat myself to a yearly yarn club, a monthly yarn club for a year, all being well, from Lolo Did It, who is an American dyer. If any of you have watched Amber, Yarn Hoarder, she has raved. I mean, she likes Lauren's yarn, but she's also raved about these hippo yarns. But that's, you got, is that a focus? There you go. Lolo Did It. Now what she does, she does the most amazing selection of colours. But this is an American thing. It's not a thing that I know over here in England. But there's a song called something about hippos. A hippo for Christmas. I want a hippo for Christmas, or something like that. I can tell how much I didn't pay attention to it. Anyway, long story short, Lolo Did It decided that she would dye a whole range of yarns, a collection of yarns called hippo yarns, and they would be on a pale grey base, and then they would be speckled according to the little the holiday, the hallmark celebration, if you like. So she was doing a hippo for Christmas, hippo for Valentine's, a hippo for Mother's Day, hippo for the one in May, Cinco de Mayo, all of those sort of ones. And then she launched this club called Hippo for Little Celebrations. And so she had, I think, a hippo for Netflix. The one I got just before Christmas, because that's when I started, was hippo for Schmores, which actually I've got over there, but I won't get it to show you yet. I'll show you that when I start knitting with it. And then the one I received at the end of December, because it takes a long time for it to get to me, I get a notification that it's been sent, or that the monthly thing is processed, and then it takes about 4 weeks before I get it, by the time it's been dyed and sent and I've received it. So I haven't had January's yet. I know it's been sent, but I'm still waiting. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The one I got at the end of December was Hippo for New Beginnings, which is just perfect, isn't it? Not only is it perfect for New Year, it was perfect for me now because I'm feeling better. So I did that. I'm going to make all the cards like this and write in the name of them. I got this off the internet. I didn't draw it because I'm a cheat like that. I did attempt to colour and watercolour blend all the colours that were in the yarn, but I didn't do it strong enough, so it's kind of not very obvious. But the yarn, yeah, shut up Nicky and get on with the yarn. That's rude, isn't it? Here's the yarn. There. So you can see so many speckled colours in that. It's just wonderful. And here's the thing, this is the first time I have ever bought grey yarn for myself. I am friends with Gemma, who is the little grey girl, ironically, who makes bags, project bags and things like that. And whenever we went to shows, back in those days when you could go to shows, she would always be, it was always grey yarn, and I would always say to her, no, get colour, and I don't hate grey, I'm not doing grey. But I was drawn to these, and not that I'm going to start knitting loads of grey stuff for myself, but with these, I was a bit worried. I did one of those things when I thought, oh, I'm going to buy the Hippo collection, but it's grey. Am I crazy? But I love it. And I cast on a couple of days ago. I did, again, put a picture on Instagram yesterday. But just look at how this is knitting up. Look at that, those speckles. And I don't know if you can really see. There you go. The grey is just beautiful. It's such a soft grey. It's the grey that I like. I don't like a dark, heavy grey. But this is like a dove grey. It's so pretty. And these speckles, I hope you can see these colours. Because you've got blues and pinks and greens. And there's almost a bit of shaded here, look. Self-striping with the tonal grey. I'm loving this. So enjoy knitting this. And it's so nice to have just a vanilla sock going on. So hopefully that will be something I can just pick up and put down as and when. I actually, for the first time, well, ever, I had a lay-in, went back to bed this morning, had a cup of tea in bed. Hannah was still asleep. Gary goes into the office sometimes on a Sunday because it's empty. So he goes in and does printing and sorts out what he needs to sort out when nobody else is there. So he'd gone, and I thought, I'm going to go back to bed with a cup of tea, 2 spaniels, of course, and take my knitting. And it was lovely. And I read my Bible, had a bit of quiet prayer time, and then I did my knitting, and it was lovely. So yeah, that's what I worked on this morning. Now the only other project, the only other work in progress I'm going to share with you is, oh dear, my shawl, which I showed you I had started on the last podcast. I was loving it. I'm still loving it. And it has been one of the things that I've been working on whilst I was poorly, because although it's got a bit of pattern, it's a very simple, straightforward kind of broken rib pattern. So it's not been too difficult for the old mind. This is in my Umbrella Academy project bag that Deb's made for me. She's another, oh, what do I want to say? She's an Umbrella Academy fan as well. And we both were talking about it, and she found some fabric of spoonflower to make this bag, and so she made one for me too, which is wonderful. I absolutely love this. And I don't have a project card for this, but I'm going to make one. I'm going to start a new project card book for 2021, so that I'm going to leave 2020 behind. I didn't keep up with my cards as I had wanted to because of life, but you know, I'm going to get back on that, and I'm going to get a new clip, and I'm going to start putting them together for 2021. So this is the Trio Shawl by Suvi Simola. It's a paid for pattern, so and very helpfully I printed it out in black and white, and it's not at all, it's going to be better for me to actually show you the shawl, but if you want to see it in black and white, that's it. And it's trio because you use 3 colours. Clues in the name, eh? And I've gone to the second colour now, and I'm using sport weight yarn, and I think I went up a needle size, so I've gone up to 3.75 millimetre needles, and the pattern calls for, I think it calls for fingering weight yarn. Do you know what? It doesn't. I'd not noticed that. Well, you can use fingering weight or sport weight yarn, and they suggest a 3.5 millimetre needle, but I'm using 3.75. Come on, the light's gone again, hasn't it? If I stay over this side, it seems to stay bright. Anyway, the progress. It's getting quite wide for my cable now. I'm on to the second colour. There you go. So, oh, that's it. So it's quite wide. Can you see? Bring that in. And then you've got the so the first colour was this lovely peach speckled. You see what I mean with the pattern there? It's sort of a garter rib. Then there's some striping. Let's get my card again. I don't know what I've done with it. There's some striping to bring in the second colour, just in stockinette. And then I'm now in the second colour, which is this more vivid peach and pink colour there. So I really won't be sitting here again next week, I think, with the window in the back, so it's no good, is it, to see? But this texture, honestly, it's just, it's so mushy squishy. It's so beautiful. I just cannot tell you, oh, come on, how lovely that is. And then the third colourway, and these are all La Bien-Aimée, and if you watched last time, you'll know that I bought this again with Gemma, little grey girl. I bought this for a Stephen West shawl. I bought the kit, cost an arm and a leg, but I bought it. I was having one of those days. And then I decided I didn't actually like the shawl that the pattern was for, so I've been holding on to these, and I think they are just perfect. So that is the next colour. It's coming up very pale there. It's much pinker. It's a much deeper. That's a bit better. Hopefully next week when I get my lighting sorted out, you'll see that better. But that's the third colour. So yeah, that's my trio shawl, which, yeah, I'm loving, and that's got a fringe as well. I've got 3 shawls are also on my list to knit this year. Finished this one. That doesn't count. I don't think I've included that. I want to knit the Hipster Shawl by Joji Locatelli, again because it's got fringe and holes and things. And there's 2 other shawls that I've picked out. I've got the yarn for and they are the 3 that I really, really want to knit. I'm very much focusing on the long term this year, so I'm thinking about not just picking out, you know, with the Take 9, and you name 9 things you want to knit. Well, I did that once before. It's like, oh yeah, I'd like to knit that, I'd like to knit that. Not really addressing what I would like to have, or what would be wearable or stuff for me. It's really weird. I don't know if I can explain that. I just got carried away and I went, you know, into my Ravelry favourites. Oh, I'll do that this year, I'll do that this year. But now I really know what I want to knit. I say this now. We'll see how this goes. But there are definitely 3 shawls that I am so in love with, and I really, really want to knit them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish Trio, and then across the year I'm going to knit these other 3 shawls. And again, I will share the plans for those with you another time. I have got a huge shipment of yarn coming, which contains the yarn I bought for the hipster shawl, the Ho Heat Locatelli hipster shawl. On Boxing Day, I treated myself to some yarn from Tanis Lavalley, Tanis Fibre Arts. She does a big Boxing Day. It's not really a sale, but her yarn, she makes more available of all of her yarn. She's a Canadian dyer. And I went on, and there was a kit, a 7 skein kit, rainbow kit, but it was speckled, and I wanted to buy it because I wanted to weave a blanket with it for us. And so I went on and bought that, and then I suddenly realised I needed worsted weight yarn for the, what did I just say I was going to knit? The hipster shawl. And so I chose some worsted weight yarn, 3 skeins of that. So I've got that coming. It's shipped, and again, it's taking forever, but that will come. The good news is, at the moment, yarn from America and Canada does not incur import duty or VAT anymore, since Brexit. So hopefully, I think with the Tanis Fibre Arts, I will have to pay some because it's over the limit, but it's a much higher limit. In fact, I might not be. But if you order, you know, 2 or 3 skeins from America, you won't actually get, as far as I understand it, nobbled, and you won't have to pay that pesky £8 post office handling fee, which is the bane of everybody, because we don't mind paying the £2 or £3 import VAT, do we? But then having to pay an £8 post office handling fee is a bit galling, because it does add a lot more to the cost of the skein. Anyway, that's probably enabled you all in England to buy stuff from America. You're welcome. Right, let's have a look. Oh my goodness, I wrote some notes. I think that was all I was, here we go, that was all I was going to talk about. Done that. Yes. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Look at that, it's nearly 50 minutes. I'll probably chop and change it a bit. I've got to use this new software, so that'll be interesting. I have lots to share with you. I don't know when I can for sure record again. If I can do it within the week, without, you know, in between the workmen being here, I will try and do that. It will be nice to get back into the habit of it again. I have so much to share with you. I have a lot of blanket knitting to share with you, and I have plans for the year I want to share with you. I've got books to talk to you about. I've got, yeah, so many different things. And finally, I am going to show you something I purchased again. I think when I'm ill, I'm dangerous, quite frankly. I just keep going. I am about, if my energy levels last today, which, you know, we'll see. I do fade a bit by the afternoon, it has to be said. I had noticed before Christmas a lady who sells, or a business who sells offcuts and selvages of blankets, factory produced blankets, and she sells them as balls of yarn. And what I wanted to do was buy some and weave us a lovely blanket with that as well. So I bought a bag, a 7 kilogram bag of these offcuts, very reasonably priced. She sends you a knitting pattern with these actually, so you can knit it with jumbo needles. I'm going to put it on the loom, but look at that. So that's kind of, it's the self edges of the factory produced, and it's 100% wool. Again, that's the end. Can you see? It's not going to do that. So I bought the tartan kit. So I've got that one. I've got that one. I've got that one, which is like a black watch tartan. I don't know if you can see that. And I've got 2 more of these. I think that's going to be enough for my standard large blanket, like I make the alchemy blankets. I'm really excited to get this on the loom, and I've been postponing it because, you know, with energy levels, I didn't want to wear myself out. Warping the loom certainly is pretty physical, for a blanket as well, because I'll be using the big loom, the 48-inch loom. Weaving isn't quite so bad because you can pick it up and put it down. It will sit on the kitchen worktop and I can just go and do a little bit each day. But the warping has to be done in one hit because I take over the kitchen. Because I need the length of the blanket, which is about 8 foot. Not 8 foot, yeah. However many metres that is. But I may well get the blanket. I'm going to warp it with some plain black wool. And then I'm going to weave the weft, so the crossways with these. So yeah, watch this space. I will give you details of the shop where you can get these, because as I say, it was so reasonable. It really appeals to my sense of, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle. If I can get, and it's so soft, I have to tell you, it's so soft. So hopefully that will produce a lovely snuggly blanket for us. So we'll see. We'll have to see how that goes. Right, that really is it for now. It's been lovely to be back chatting. I'm totally dry now. I need to go and make myself a cup of tea. I do hope that the light and the focus issues haven't been too bad. As I say, I wanted to get this out. I think we're okay. I think we'll be okay. Do leave a comment down below if you want to interact with anything I've chatted about. You can also message me on Instagram, of course, if you would like to. Join the Ravelry group if you'd like to. I've not been terribly active over there. It's been quite quiet, but you know, we'll see how that goes. There are some great folk on there. Lovely, lovely ladies, I have to say. They're all ladies, as far as I'm aware. But have a little chat. Henry is now walking up and down. It's like he knows that I'm finishing up. And if you would like to subscribe, that would be really fab. I would love to get to 2021 subscribers. That would be really cool. Other than that, I hope you have a lovely week. It's Sunday, so a lovely kind of, you know, Sunday to Sunday normal week. Take care, be safe, be sensible, do as you're told. I'm not even going to get into that. Keep cheerful and keep healthy, and I will see you soon.